Good morning, students. Am I audible? Yes, students, am I audible? Okay. So today we'll start with the 12th class BST, chapter 12, consumer protection. And till now we have done rights and responsibilities of consumer protection, as well as the importance of consumer protection for consumer as well as for producer or seller. So today we'll be talking about Consumer Protection Act 1986 and what are the changes done in this act in 2019. We will be also talked about that. So in Consumer Protection Act 1986 was introduced by the government just to protect the consumer from the malpractices and the exploitation done by the sellers or the dealers or the manufacturers. So in this act, different definitions are given. So you have to do the definitions as well from the point of view of act only, not the general definitions you can use. Like first definition is definition of consumer. You all know that who is consumer. In economics also you have studied it, and even a lay person know what is the meaning of consumer. So consumer generally means a person who consumes the goods. Consumer generally means a person who consumes the goods to satisfy his or her needs. So the person who consumes the goods or avail the services, because services cannot be consumed, so we will use the word avail. So the consumer is a person who uses the goods or avails the services. But under Consumer Protection Act 1986, consumer is defined differently. So whenever in business studies this question will come that who is a consumer, then you will be giving definition as per Consumer Protection Act 1986, not the general definition. So any person who buys any goods for a consideration. Consideration means he is paying something. He is not getting free of cost. If anyone who has got anything free of cost, suppose someone has gift something to one person, then in that case the person will not be considered as consumer as per Consumer Protection Act. So a person who buys any goods for a consideration which has been paid means the transaction is cash, or promised means it is on credit basis, or partly paid means some percentage of the amount is paid and the left percentage is promised to be paid in future, or under any scheme of deferred payment. Deferred payment here means future payment. It means suppose we are purchasing the goods in installments, so every year every month we have to pay one installment or EMI. So these three words are important in the definition of consumer, that consumer is a person who buys goods for a consideration which has been paid or promised, or partly paid and partly promised, or under any scheme of deferred payment. For example, if a person buys a car in cash or under finance scheme, then he is a consumer. It includes any user of such goods when such use is made with the approval of the buyer. A person is a consumer if he uses his friend's car with the approval of his friend. This line means if a person, he has not bought the product, but he is using some other person's product, but with the approval of that person, only then that person will be known as a consumer according to an act. Like you are using car of your friend, but you have not taken permission from your friend, so and you met an accident. So consumer protection, according to Consumer Protection Act, you will be not considered a consumer. Why? Because you have not taken permission from your friend before using the product. So here in this definition we just came to know about two things, that is a person who buys goods for any amount paid, for not paid, promised to be paid, partly promised, and under any scheme of deferred payment. This is first point. Second point, the user of the goods, who has used the goods with the prior approval. Then third point, It does not include a person who obtains goods for resale or for any commercial purpose, like a mobile dealer is buying the mobiles from the mobile company. Why he has bought the mobile? To resell it, to sell it. So in that case, the mobile dealer will not be considered as a consumer in the eyes of the act. So if you are buying something further to sell it, then you cannot be the consumer. Mobile dealers cannot say that I have bought these mobiles, that's why I am the consumer. No, he will be not considered consumer because he has purchased the mobiles to resell it in the market. So three things I told you in consumer. First, he has purchased the goods, not got free of cost. Either he has made the payment or in future he will be making the payment. Okay. Second thing, before using the goods, he has taken the prior approval of the buyer. Third thing, a person who has bought the goods for a purpose of resell it, that will be not considered as a consumer. So this is the consumer of goods. So what about the consumer of services? All the words will remain same, only the word buy will be replaced by hire or avails, because services cannot be bought. These are hired or availed. So all the other words will remain same. So any person who hires or avails of any service, you can see that instead of buy, I am telling you here buy, hires or avails any services for a consideration which has been paid or promised to partly paid and partly promised under any system of deferred payment. For example, for example, a person is a consumer if he has hired a taxi from a tourist company to visit some place, because he has hired the services of taxi. And or many more examples we can take, like if you have taken or availed the services of internet wi-fi you have taken, so it means, and you are making payment for that wi-fi, it means you will be considered as a consumer. So services are always hired and products are always bought. So it includes any beneficiary of services. Any beneficiary of services means the other person who is using the benefits of your services but with the prior approval, when such services are availed of with the approval of the person concerned, but does not include a person who avails of such services for any commercial purpose. Means there must not be any commercial purpose. Commercial purpose again for the purpose of sale, okay, to earn money, to earn profit. Am I clear? So this question can come in 3 marks. Okay, students, this question can come in 3 marks. Define consumer. Then you have to define consumer in two manner. Consumer for a good, consumer for a service. Okay, am I clear? So a consumer for a service will remain same. The definition which you have done in consumer for a good, only the word buy will be replaced by the word hires or avails. So next, this is the one important definition, and according to the act, only this definition will be considered for being the consumer. Next, who can file a complaint? All these questions are 3 marker questions. Okay. So who can file a complaint under the Consumer Protection Act 1986 means which person is eligible to file a complaint under Consumer Protection Act. So this is also defined by the act, and I'm telling you the different bodies and different persons who can file a complaint, and beyond these no other person can file a complaint. So you have to learn it as it is, any consumer. And who is consumer? Given in the definition which we have already done, any consumer. Second, any registered consumer association, any consumer organization is there. Yesterday we did the topic consumer organization rules. There I told you some name of consumer organizations like Voice, Cuts, Common Cause. So all these are registered consumer organizations. So if a consumer organization is there but it has not been registered by the government, then it cannot file a case. Why? Because without registration, it is not having any legal identity. So only the registered consumer organization. Third, central government or any state government. Sometime on the behalf of public, any state government or central government can also file a case if the matter is of national importance. Then one or more consumers on behalf of numerous consumers having the same interest. Suppose a group of consumer is there and total 1,000 number of consumers are there and they have purchased the same product and they are suffering from the same problem. So it is not necessary that whole of the 1,000 consumers are going to file a case. Only one on behalf of all, or more than one, it may be 10, 20, 50 can file a case, but on behalf of the all consumers who are having the same interest. Same interest means who are suffering from the same problem. Okay. Next, fifth, which is the last, a legal hire or representative of a deceased consumer. If a person is died just because of the use of the any product, any goods or services, that on the behalf of the died person, deceased means died person, his legal representative or any of his nominee, his legal hire, maybe his son, his daughter, any person who is the his nominee or legal representative can file a case. Legal hire means any advocate, any family advocate or any other person, and representative means any of the relative of the deceased person who is very much near relative of the deceased person. So these are the 5 people or 5 organizations which can file a case. Beyond these 5, no other person is allowed to file a case. So who are these 5? Any consumer, any registered consumer association, the central government or any state government, one or more consumers on behalf of numerous consumers having the same interest, then the legal hire or representative of a deceased consumer. Next, remedies. What are the remedies or reliefs available to a consumer? What are the remedies or reliefs available to a consumer? One more topic is there. I think I have not scanned that, so I'm telling you. That is the against whom a complaint can be filed. You can write it. Against whom a complaint can be filed. So write down the seller, manufacturer or the dealer of the goods which are defective, against whom the consumer can file a complaint. So these are the parties, either the seller or the manufacturer or the middleman, like we can say the dealer of the goods, who is just working in between as an intermediary. So complaint can be filed against seller, manufacturer or dealer of the goods which are defective. So here again one marker question can come in exam. What do you mean by defective goods? What do you mean by defective? Like in our normal life, we say defective means any defect in the product, like the good is not in proper shape, design, quality. So similarly, the act has defined the defective goods means any fault, any default, imperfection or shortcoming in the quality, quantity or purity of the goods. Remember these 3 words: quality, quantity and purity. Quality means the product is substandard, not up to that quality which was promised. And quantity means suppose 100 gram is written on the packet, and when we are going to weigh it, then we are finding it only 90 gram. Okay. Third is purity. Purity means the product is not pure, it is adulterated. So defect, what do you mean by defect? One marker question I am repeating. Defect means any fault, imperfection or shortcoming in the quality, quantity or purity of the goods. So if these type of 3 things are found in the product, then above 5 people which I have told you can file a case against the manufacturer, seller or dealer of the goods. Second, this was the for goods. Like goods can be bought, but services cannot be bought. These are availed or hired. Similarly, goods can be defective, but services cannot be defective. The word we will be using here, deficient, not the defective. Services are deficient and goods are defective. So the provider of the deficient services to the against whom the case can be filed, the manufacturer of the goods and the service provider from whom we have availed the services. Which services? Deficient services. So meaning of deficiency in service means again the same. Deficiency means any imperfection, shortcoming or inadequacy. Any imperfection, shortcoming and inadequacy in the quality, nature and the manner of performance of services. In the quality, nature and manner of performance of services. For example, you have taken the net facility and the speed, whatever was promised by your service provided to you. And actually the speed is not coming that. It's very low speed, we can say, compared to that which was promised to you. So it means your services are deficient. Your services are deficient. It means the service provider is not providing the up-to-date services. So the speed is performance of your service is not in the manner which was told by the seller to you. Okay. So again the 3-marker question, against whom the complaints can be filed? The seller, manufacturer or the dealer of the goods, of the defective goods, and the service provider of the defective services. Next. Till now we have done 3 topics. Who is consumer? Against whom complaint can be filed? All these are 3-marker question. And who can file a complaint? Now next, remedies, reliefs available to a consumer. It means if you have filed a case or complaint in the consumer court, then what are the reliefs, what are the remedies can be made available to you by the different consumer courts. So these are the, when the consumer court is giving order to the defaulter party, then it means you are exercising your which right? When you are getting remedies, which right? Yesterday I told you, when you are getting remedies, you can give me your answer in chat. When you are getting remedies, which right you are exercising? When you are getting remedies, which right you are exercising? Yes, very good, Mitali. Right to some more answer. I want some answers from students. Yes, Deepak Sharma, you have also given me correct. Saksham, very good. Right to seek redressal. Yes, Deepak, I told you earlier that don't give answer in group chat. Whenever you people are giving answer, give me only in private chat so that other people are not repeating the same answer. So what are the reliefs? If the consumer court is satisfied about the genuineness of the complaint, means whatever the complaint is filed by you, the consumer court is satisfied with that complaint, it can issue one or more of the following directives to the opposite party. So it is not necessary that only the one remedy will be available, more than one remedies may be available. So what is the first remedy? To remove the defect. Suppose the goods are defective, so first remedy can be ordered by the consumer court is to remove the defect. Like you have purchased an iron and it was defective, it was not heating. So what the consumer court can order to the seller, that to repair the iron. Remove the defect means to repair that particular product or deficiency in services. Second, to replace the defective product. If repairing is not possible, then it may order to replace the defective product with a new one. In that case, completely new product will be given to you, or services will be free from any deficiency. Third, if you are not ready to get the product again from the seller, so you are requesting to the court that you will not take the product from the same seller. So the court may order to refund the price paid for the product or the charges paid for the services. So first of all, these 3 steps will be taken. Remove, 3 R's we can say. First R, remove. Second R, replace. Third R, refund the money. Remove the defect, replace the product, and then refund the price. Okay. Fourth, to pay a reasonable amount of compensation for any loss or injury. If by using the product or by availing the services, you have suffered any loss of your health, of your property, or any injury suffered, there was a electric current and due to which there were some health problems which you are facing. So So in that case, the consumer court may order to pay a reasonable amount of compensation. Remember that compensation will be paid only when there is any loss or injury. Suppose your some asset was damaged and that was cost of that asset was 50,000. So the court may order to pay 50,000 or some amount less than 50,000 according to the market value of that asset. Next, to discontinue the exploitative unfair trade practices and not to repeat in the future. Okay, it means discontinue, means whatever the products the seller was selling, discontinue that activity and not to repeat in the future. Not to offer hazardous goods for sale. The consumer court may order to the seller that he cannot sell, he cannot offer the products which are danger for the health of the people. So this order may be issued to the seller. To withdraw the hazardous goods from the sale. To withdraw the hazard goods from the sale means whatever the goods, hazard products are in market, the consumer court may order to withdraw. Withdraw means to take it back from the market. If the manufacturer has sold it to wholesalers and wholesalers have sold it to retailers, then the whole of the goods will be taken back. The wholesalers will be taking back goods from the retailers and the manufacturer will be taking back the goods from the wholesalers. I think you must be remember the case of Maggie. I think 2-3 years back, the whole of the Maggie units were withdrawn from the market and the whole production was stopped just because of some insects in the Maggie or some substandard products were used in the manufacturing of the Maggie. Eighth point, to seize manufacturing of hazard goods. I told you this point earlier. Not only the withdraw the product from the market, but the next production process, future production will be seized, means banned. The products cannot be produced in future till the case is solved. Next, to pay any amount not less than 5% of the value of the defective goods or deficient services provided. So the court, along with all these remedies, the court may say that to the other party, opponent party, that he has to pay at least 5% of the value of the defective goods and services to any registered consumer organization or to the consumer welfare fund, so that it can be used by for the welfare of the consumer. Suppose the product which you have purchased from the seller is of 50 lakh. So minimum 5% of 10 lakh. So minimum 5% of 10 lakh is the 50,000. So court may order to pay 50,000 rupees to any consumer welfare fund. Remember that I told you minimum. Minimum limit is prescribed, not the maximum. Maximum it can be 100%, 200%, 300%. Whatever the court may feel is the correct amount. Next, to issue corrective advertisement to neutralize the effect of a misleading advertisement. Suppose earlier the company is giving any misleading advertisement in the leading newspaper or on TV, etc. Then the consumers have purchased the product on the basis of that misleading advertisement and they suffered a loss. So the court may give the order to the company, then they have to give a new advertisement. New advertisement again in the newspaper, which will be neutralizing means nullifying the effect of a misleading of the earlier advertisement. Like in earlier advertisement the company is saying that they have this particular element in the product, ingredient as a product in the product, but actually that ingredient was not present there, and on the basis of that ingredient in the product many consumers bought the product, but the product when the was lab tested was there, then actually the ingredient was not there. So consumer went to the court and the court gave this order that again the company have to give a new advertisement which will be telling that this particular element or ingredient is not in product, to neutralize the effect of a misleading advertisement. To pay the adequate cost to the appropriate party. So if any cost is there, suppose he has filed a case in the court and some transportation cost is there and other costs are there, so the court may order to pay the adequate cost to the appropriate party. So these are the 11 points. 12th point is same to the 11th point, so need not to do it in extra. So again I am telling you, remove the defect, replace the product, refund the price, compensation, discontinue the unfair trade practices, not to offer hazard goods for sale, to withdraw the products from market, to seize the manufacturing of the hazard products, at least 5% is to be paid to the welfare fund, to issue the corrective advertisement, to pay the adequate cost to the appropriate party. So how the question come on this topic? Many times a straightforward question has come in 6 marker that explain the remedies or reliefs available to a consumer. So you have to write all the 10, 11 points. But if in a case study, it is coming, what are the reliefs or remedies will be available in this particular case. In that case, you have to see the nature of product first. Only then you are going to explain the points. Like in 2-3 years back, a question come in board examination that Radha has bought 1 liter ghee from of a particular brand from a manufacturer or the dealer of the product, and the ghee was adulterated, and by consuming that ghee she fell ill, so she filed a case. So what the remedies can be given? So there, in the case of ghee, you cannot write to remove the defect, because in ghee there is some defect. How it can be removed? In appliances, electronic appliances, and or in any product like pressure cooker we are buying, so defect can be removed. But in edible products, defect can be removed. So behave wisely while attempting the question, because all these points cannot be applied every time. So keeping in mind the nature of the products, you have to tell your points. So in that case of ghee, what points can be there? Replace the defective product, refund the price, paying the compensation. If she is facing any health issues, then a compensation must be paid. To discontinue, not to offer, all these points can be there, but not the first point, to remove the defect in goods or deficiency in services. Next, which is the last topic of the act as well as of the chapter, 3-tier redressal machinery. And class, make sure I am taking 2-time attendance in the beginning or at the end of the class. So all those students who were from beginning till the end, they will be getting the attendance. I am observing that 3 students have left the class once they joined and then they left. So they will be not getting any attendance. 3-tier redressal machinery. Now where the complaints can be filed. Where the complaints can be filed. So for this, the filing of the complaints, Consumer Protection Act provides a 3-tier. 3-tier here means 3-layer redressal machinery. Okay, redressal machinery means complaint solving machinery. So which are these 3 tiers? At first level, district consumer dispute redressal forums. In short, they are known as district forums. Second, state, this is the second level. First level district, second level state consumer disputes redressal commission, and it is known as state commission. Third is the national consumer dispute redressal commission, which is known as national commission. So in short, we can learn 3 tiers are there, 3 layers are there, 3 levels are there: district forum, state commission, national commission. Now where to file a case? You have 3 options. Now it will be depending on some conditions. So now I am telling you the condition, and this is a complete 6 marker question. Remember, 6 marker question, and comes never in case study form. In case study form, it can come in 1 marker, like one case is there and it will be asked that where you have to file the case. So on the basis of the case, you have to give the answer either in district form or in state commission or in national commission. So there are total 640 district forums are those forums which are set up in each district. Each district of the country is having 1 district forum. In a particular state, how many districts are there? The number of the district forum will be same. Okay. So there are total 644 district commissions in India or district forums in India. And these are set up at district level. So some more points which are not given in books, I'll be telling you. So please note down side by side. So number of member, need not to write just in paragraph form, just make the headings. So this is the constitution. Give the heading constitution, means how they are formed, what is their constitution. So in district forum, total 3 members are there. Total 3 persons are there. Out of 1 is the president at the president post, and 2 other members are there. And out of those 2 members, 1 member must be a woman, should be a woman. Okay. And who appoints them? All are appointed by the state government concerned. Like in UP state, the district forums members or the president will be appointed by the UP state government. Next, who can be the president? This is not given in book. You can write who can be the president of the district forum. So the any working or retired judge of the district court, any working or retired judge of the district court, like in Delhi, district courts like Karkaduma, Tisazari, all these are district courts. So any working or retired judge of the district court or any person who is having the same qualification equivalent to a judge, any person who is having the same qualification equivalent to judge can be appointed as a president. Okay. And second, when case can be filed in district forum, this is the important line. All the cases in which the value of goods and services in the given question along with the compensation claimed does not exceed rupees 20 lakh, means rupee 1 to rupees 20 lakh, up to 20 lakh. Suppose you have purchased an iron of rupees 2000 and the loss, you have suffered a loss and you are demanding for the compensation of 50,000. So total value 2000 is the cost of iron and the compensation amount is 50,000. So the total value is 52,000. So where to file the case? In district forum. Why? Because the value of goods and services along with the compensation, emphasize on this word, along with the compensation, does not exceed rupees 20 lakh. Does not exceed rupees 20 lakh. Then third, when the complaint will be filed in any of the forum, first 3 points will be changing in all three. The rest, all the other points will remain same. Remember this thing. When the complaint will be received in the district forum, then first of all, a notice will be sent to the other party so that he can come to know that the case is filed against him. And if the goods are of such nature in which sample testing is required, then the sample of the goods will be taken by the district forum and the sample will be sent to the laboratory for testing. Next, then there will be hearing or date will be decided and there will be hearing and district forum will pass an order after considering the test report, whatever the report will be there, and after considering the genuineness of the case filed. It should not be there that you are filing a fraud case. So it must be genuine. Only then you will be getting a relief in favor of you. Okay, students? So in that case, the order will be passed. When the order will be passed, now the other party will be having will be having a right to make an appeal. So within the 30 days of passing the order, you can make the appeal. Within the 30 days of passing the order, you can make appeal. Appeal where? In the next higher level court. Like if you are not satisfied by the decision given by the Karkaduma court, then you can go to the next higher level court. And which is the higher level court? High court. And here the higher level authority is the state commission. So within 30 days of getting the order, you can make an appeal to the state commission. Okay, students. So this is all about district forum. So where three things we have to consider. District forums are each district one forum and they are appointed by 3 members are there, 1 president and 2 other members. And which type of cases are filed? The cases where the value of goods and services and along with the compensation does not exceed to 20 lakh. I told you there that in the other 2 level, only first 3 point will change. 4th, 5th and 6th point will remain same. Now come to the state commission. In state commission, there are in India 35 state commissions. In book it's written wrong. It's not 365. It's 35 state commissions in India. And in every state is one. Like high courts are one in every state. So similarly, the state commission is one in every state. So each state commission, what is the constitution? President and not less than 2 members. There I told you president and 2 members. And here president and not less than 2 members means minimum 2 members. More can be there. There was only 2 members and here minimum 2 members, more can be there. So out of those 2, one must be a women member, and who is appointing them? Again, the state government is appointing them. And who can be the president? The retired or working judge of High Court. retired or working judge of High Court. Then which type of complaint can be made in State Commission? Two type of complaint. First, where the value of goods and services along with the compensation is more than 20 lakh but less than 1 crore. More than 20 lakh but less than 1 crore. Second, all the appeals of the district court. So you will be writing two points when the when the complaints can be made to State Commission. First, when the value of goods and services along with the compensation is exceeding 1 crore. Second, the appeals against the order of district forums can also be filed before the State Commission, and the rest point will remain same. Notice will be received, then the notice will be given to the other party, then hearing will be there, and if product is of testing nature, then the sample will be taken, then the order will be passed, and the if you are not satisfied with the order given by the party, given by the court, then the aggrieved party can go to the National Commission within the 30 days of the passing the order. This is the one marker question. Till when you can make the appeal? Within the 30 days of the passing of the order. Third, National Commission. In National Commission, it is at national level one, like the Supreme Court is one in the whole of the India. So similarly, National Commission is also one in the whole of the India, and it is set up by central government. Earlier, two bodies were set up by state government, and it is set up by central government. And here are total number of person is 5, minimum 5, one president and at least 4 other members, in which one should be a woman. 4 other members, and they are appointed by central government. And who can be the president? The retired or the working judge of the Supreme Court can be the president. And which type of complaint can be filed? Two type of complaint. First, in which the claim or the value of goods and services exceeds 1 crore, exceeds 1 crore, up to 20 lakh district forum, more than 20 lakh up to 1 crore State Commission, more than 1 crore National Commission, and the rest of the procedures will remain same. But if the aggrieved party was not satisfied with the orders of the National Commission, can be taken to the Supreme Court of India. Suppose, but here you have to remember one thing, that suppose you have filed a case in district forum, you were not satisfied, then you went to State Commission, there also you were not satisfied, then within the next 30 days you may file a case in the National Commission. But for district appealable cases and for state appealable cases, the highest authority is the National Commission. They cannot go to the Supreme Court. Then who can go to the Supreme Court? Only the cases which were originally filed in National Commission. It means the cases in which the value of goods and services and the compensation is more